Hey everyone, welcome to a Psalm for today, your reassuring voice that Jesus is Lord. It is a privilege to be your friend online, to talk about the Lordship of Jesus each day, and to cover my favorite thing to cover every day is the Psalms. Now, I love the Bible. I love especially the Gospels, and I love Colossians. I translated Colossians as part of my second year Greek processes, but nonetheless, when it comes to every day, I don't read Colossians every day, but I do read the Psalms every day, and I enjoy the Psalms. Now, yesterday I was too tired to do my Psalm, so it was a combination of jet lag. Let's see, I flew, what did I do? I did Bangkok, Hong Kong, Chicago, Phoenix. Got here Sunday night around 10 p.m. And then on Monday, we bought a house. So it closed on Wednesday. It's a funny story. What happens here in the Phoenix Valley, at least in my experience, which is very minimal, is that as soon as a house goes on sale for a good deal, the flippers buy it. And so when I was a kid, flipper was what was that, a dolphin or a whale or something. But now flipper means buy and sell. And so, yeah, so we saw one house. I said, man, this looks good. It came online at midnight. And we asked our realtor, put an offer in first thing in the morning. And it had already sold by 8 a.m. So you had to beat the flippers. Anyways, I was in Thailand, and Paula said, I found a house. I said, well, buy it. If you like it, buy it. And she did like it, and she did buy it. I thought, I'm buying a house I've never seen before. Well, I landed Sunday night late. Monday, we went over and I looked through the windows. Tuesday was the final walkthrough for Paula, the first walkthrough for me. I walked through. And then Wednesday, we signed on the dotted line. And so if you see a second curve coaching guy on the side of the road saying we'll work for rent payment, or not rent, but mortgage payment, that'll be me. No, I'm kidding. God has been faithful and good and provided all our needs. So I am no longer homeless. Or like my friend Maria says, she is my co-learner. She said, you're not homeless, you're houseless. So I am no longer houseless. What a fun thing. Anyways, I love change. Change is good. I like change in almost everything, except where I live. I don't like to change where I live. And people say, hey, congratulations on being a pastor of the same church. It's like, for so many years, I'm like, well, it's because I don't like to move. But nonetheless, we have moved. We are now Arizonans. Arizona cracks me up and makes me mad, both, is I guess they voted very conservatively in this election. That's what I hear. Arizona's conservative. So they want to be conservative, and yet they overwhelmingly approved abortion into the 9th month, if I understand correctly. So I'm not sure how that is conservative. I am uncertain. Nonetheless, people seem to want to have the right to kill babies. And as you know, probably, those that are destroyed mostly throughout the world are girls. And so for some reason, people keep voting to kill little girls, and it breaks my heart. And it sort of breaks my heart as equally to making me angry. I think that God's not pleased. All right, Psalm for today is Psalm 106, and it sort of deals with what I'm talking about as far as politics and social circles and all of this. Psalm 106:34 says, they did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them. In other words, the children of Israel went into the promised land, and on their way, they were to destroy some people, to destroy some things. This is very hard for some people to understand, but nonetheless, in the process, there were some things they were to destroy. Verse 35 is a key, though. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, and they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Interesting. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. Here's the deal. Here I am. This is my last, I think, psalm for today from this balcony of our apartment. There's Chandler, Arizona. That building behind me, the taller one right there, that is City Hall, and all the businesses right down there in downtown Chandler. I am among the people of Chandler, Arizona. I am mingled among the Chandler, Arizona residents. And so are you. You are mingled where you are. If you are in an apartment building, you are mingled with the apartment residents. If you are in LA, you're mingled among LA people. If you are in Bangkok, you're mingled among Bangkokian people. Or what if you are Christian and you live in Nepal? You are mingled among Hinduism and Buddhism. Or if you are in Europe, you are mingled among secularism. So there is this mingling that happens. And that's not the difficult part of the psalm. The psalm is not that you are mingled. The psalm is that while we were mingled, we learned their ways. And in this illustration, they learned how to serve their idols. Gary Don Coggs, my dear brother, whom I haven't talked to for quite a while, nonetheless, was the worship pastor at Muldoon Community Assembly. I said one day, hey, Gary, we're changing your name from worship pastor. I said, you aren't the worship pastor. You are the music minister. You are the music minister. The interesting thing for me about that is that worship pastors, the title indicates that our primary ministry there is to God. Worship pastor. We are primarily worshiping God with a worship pastor. I said, let's change your title to music minister, because not only do you worship God, but God has called you to be an evangelist to the music industry or the music genre of Anchorage and the world. And I said, so next budget, we have to include a lot of money in that budget so you can get to the musicians in Anchorage and lead them to Jesus. If we're not careful, we're over here worshiping Jesus as a worship pastor while musicians are going into eternity without Christ. So pretty soon Gary comes back. I don't know however long he came back. He said, well, I figured it out. I said, okay, tell me, what did we figure out? He said, there's two options to reach the people in the musical field in Anchorage. I said, what is that? A, I go to them. B, they come to us. Well, this was a pretty simple answer, but actually quite brilliant. Because if you want to cause a controversy in your church, let a non-Christian musician on your stage. Right? And so if you let a non-Christian on your stage, you are going to be considered the most ungodly pastor on the planet. Man, we had that was unsaved air in that trumpet, and you're going to cause quite a deal. But if you go to them, they're playing in bars. The most musicians back then that we know of were in the school district. That's where most of the jobs for musicians were, in the school district, music teachers, etc. Well, anyways, the point is, among this nation, to reach Chandler behind me, I either have to go to them or they have to come to me. There's only two options. Drive by and drop leaflets out of a helicopter just doesn't seem to work too well in the world. But the problem for Israel was that while they mingled among the nations, or if you use the King James, while they mingled among the heathen, they learned their works. And so what we want to figure out is how to mingle among people and yet not learn their deeds, but have them learn our love for God. It's a delicate balance, but Jesus modeled it. Jesus was able, of course, fully God and fully man, to be amongst the darkness and yet still be the light. And what we want is for your life and my life to be the light of the world because of the light of Jesus in us in the darkest places. But we don't want the darkness to dim our light. And so from the Psalm today, 106, may we learn how to mingle. Don't be afraid to mingle. Don't be afraid to mingle amongst the nations. But at the same time, ask God to keep you from learning the works of those in darkness amongst whom you mingle. Lord Jesus, help us as we mingle among the nations and they learn to love you rather than we learn to follow after their deeds of darkness. In Jesus'